welcome to another edition of the Spot Real Talk Quarantine Chronicles. My name is Tiara.
Hi, I'm LaWanda.
I'm Ron.
I'm Tiffany.
And tonight we are here to discuss Insecure while also sipping on some, I got wine. I'm drinking a little Moscato.
Water.
I have Moscato too. I have cherry Moscato.
It's too late for me. I got nothing.
Okay, well, if you guys hang tight, we'll be right back to get the discussion started.
Baby, I know where the last one burned you. Know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. You can't trust that alone.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Like I said, we're here to discuss Insecure. It's titled LowKey Happy. I really could use a lot of happiness considering all that's going on. It's some heavy stuff going on right now.
It's even
I was going to say, in light of current events, I'm rocking my shirt that I got in LA about 4 years ago. Has civil unrest with Black folks running, police, SWAT, all of that. And the back of my shirt says, when you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I just thought it was apropos for what's going on right now. And I just want to say rest in peace to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, and all the other countless African-American men and women who have succumbed to police brutality and vigilantes.
Mm-hmm.
Keep their names up front because actually we're tired of this, and this thing has even spilled over to London. So I think it's a hell of a movement, and I hope that with all the destruction, we don't lose ground or lose the identity of what we're actually set out to do here. Keep George Floyd and all the others in your mind and your hearts, so that we can start making change. And Congress, you're next. If you can't agree with what we need, you're out. Simple as that.
And I would say just keep that same energy. A lot of times we have these, what do I call them, incidents, and there's a lot of energy around it, and then we go back and we get quiet. I think this time we can't stop. We have to be activated on all fronts to end this for our generation, because there's a meme going around on the internet about the Tulsa bombings in Black Wall Street that happened this same very day, May 21st.
90 plus years ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that's a story I'd always heard, that my father's mother's family is from there. And I remember going to visit that town when I was 7 years old. So that's a story that I know well, that I'm personally connected to. I don't want my descendants to be in the same place 100 years from now. So let's do our jobs, all of us.
Well, you guys summed it up perfectly. I think y'all all took the words right out of my mouth. So digging into this conversation, LowKey Happy, I was glad that this was a lighter episode, not so much bickering and back and forth. And
Me too.
In this episode, I think Tiffany will be happy to be vindicated against Ron.
You know what? I still got a little.
Yes, I already talked to Ron offline. I couldn't wait. And I told him while I was watching the episode, I was jumping up and down, literally.
Well, look, you know what? I'm still in the game. Okay, she may have won the war. I mean, the battle, but the war is still.
I said what I said. I said they may not even get back together. I said, but they gonna get it in.
Well, I didn't deny. I'm not going to deny that. And you know what? But I know how Lawrence felt. I've been there, because my question was, wait a minute, Lawrence, what you doing? He takes, he gets a phone call from Condola, then he calls her back, and he's trying to be hush-hush on the down low with the phone call and everything. And I'm like, okay, I had to go back in time a bit, but I kind of recall a little situation like that. So I know where he's coming from. He's trying to play both ends up until a point. Don't know what the point is. So you haven't won quite yet, okay?
Well, he wasn't sure that he was going to be able to get it in with Issa and stuff. So he
really almost blew it.
Yeah, he did. But I was glad for Issa, because I was like, if I was Issa, I ain't ceding my turf to no new chick either. So I ain't going nowhere.
I had to give it to Issa with that move. I mean, she was like, this is my night. I'm going for it. So Condola, you're not getting anything. You're not getting anything.
Absolutely. And I was mad Lawrence was just gonna let her roll out. Like, say something, man.
Okay, but let's go back when she, high stepped in the club and she fell flat on her face. Okay.
Typical Issa.
Question, and then I'm thinking, Lawrence, how come you didn't rush over to help?
That is typical Issa. I was like, she's still on.
Well, he did rush over, but she was like, you know what? Let me just don't.
He didn't rush over to help her. I mean, she stayed there for a second or two. Then he came over, he kneeled down and said,
she said, let her stay there.
No, I'm saying.
I think he was shocked. Like, did that just happen?
Whatever it was, but then it was funny because he just knelt down and said, you all right? And she was like, yeah, I'm all right.
Because that's so Issa.
I know, it is.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it was really funny.
It was unexpected and very, very funny.
Exactly. So, I don't know. So is he going to go to San Fran? Is he going to take the job? Is he going to stay with, are the two of them going to get back? Who knows?
Well, Tiffany, you were right from last episode in saying that he was in San Francisco for something job related. I remember.
Yeah.
So.
And think about it. San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Cali, anyway, he's in the tech field. I can see him going there trying to see about new opportunities, especially since, he's kind of feeling like he's in a dead-end position at his current job.
Well, I do like that this episode helped Lawrence realize that he is happier professionally when he's carrying out other people's ideas. And that was a good point that the episode made, because you don't always have to be the innovator, and you don't have to always come up with ideas. Like, some people really are better served carrying out, executing other people's ideas. And I'm glad that they brought that out, especially like as they were working through what really makes them happy, because everybody, especially on social media, is boss this, you got to be an entrepreneur, you working a 9-to-5, you lame. Like, it's like they be putting down people that work typical jobs, and everybody got to be the boss. And so
I still don't,
it's not something that's for the lighthearted. Everybody can't be a boss.
No,
right.
But I think that if it is his dream to start his own, I wouldn't put it aside. You may delay it for a moment, but it doesn't mean it's dead. He did surprise me to say he would rather work on other people's, whatever. And he seems to be pretty happy. I'm not sure if it's happy or contentment, but he seems to be okay with it. That's a change.
Well, he said that he enjoys working with a team, which is cool.
No, I'm saying it is cool, but I still would like to. If you have a dream to start your own, go for it. I mean, he's still young enough now to do so. Don't just set it aside because you failed once. The average successful.
And he probably will. A lot of people.
I'm only saying that he should, because the average successful person, sometimes they fail around 2 or 3 times before they get it right. So, just don't let that first time, knock your dream off.
Yeah, I think his point was that he felt like he had to do that. Like, he said that in the episode, I felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing. But when he mentioned like he felt happier in a team environment, I think that's where he was like, maybe the entrepreneurial route is not for me. So,
or he's learned that this is a good place where he can get, feedback. That is a place for him to actually learn and grow too.
Right. Yeah, that could be.
If you remember Aparna, remember when, when he first got the job and he was dealing with Aparna, and they would have to go on those teams and make pitches and stuff. And I think that was valuable for him. So I could see why he would say that. I would hope he wouldn't stop there. I would run. I would hope he wouldn't stop there.
Right. Mm-hmm. So at the first restaurant they were at was really rowdy and noisy. And so they eventually kind of went off to another restaurant, and it seems like it was one that they had been wanting to go to when they were together, but probably couldn't afford to, go to. And so Issa orders out the whole menu. She's going all out.
It's like, this is on you. Let him pick up the tab for a change.
Yeah, it seems like in their relationship prior, they didn't ever really go out. So it's kind of Issa living out her dreams.
He glowed up. I was like, look at them. I was so here for this, their date. And I was here for the communication between them two.
Finally,
you know, clearing things up, clearing the air.
Got left unsaid between them.
I thought for a minute there it might go sideways, but you know, it did have to be said. It had to be said, and I think that it was a good location to do so. And so, and I started to feel the relationship between the two of them. Don't get me wrong, Tiffany. You know, I'm not saying necessarily that they don't make a good team, you know, a good couple. They seem to, you know, really bounce off one another. They're both kind of silly at times, and I like that. You know,
and they know each other. You see how she just ordered for him?
Yeah, oh yeah, she took over that menu. So hey, look, I'm good, okay? But Condola, you ain't heard the last from that sister, okay?
Oh, we ain't heard the last from Condola. I know that, but you know, I was happy that Issa did what she did. And one of the things that when they were communicating, they basically reiterated what we all said to you, Ron, about how Issa was feeling about why she cheated. We recognized that was the space that she was in. When she said to him, like, you didn't make me feel like you wanted me and things like that. That was why. It wasn't just because Daniel was fine. Daniel is fine.
No, and I never
but that
said,
wasn't the only reason why.
Hold up. I never said it was just because Daniel was fine. And I can tell you right now, so many men have said the same thing about women, but it just doesn't seem to come across as accepted. And so for whatever, I mean, outside of a person that just wants to cheat for the sake of cheating, most people that do have a reason. And whether you want to accept the reason or not, whether you want to put yourself as part of the reason that they cheated is another story. But outside of just a regular dog that just always has to have more than one, there's always a reason somewhere. And, you know, and that's my point. My whole point is it has to, you know, sometimes we're much harder on men when they cheat than we are women. We always can find an excuse as to why a woman cheats. And then we're less willing to understand why this man may have cheated. And I'm not talking about men who do it on a regular. I'm just talking about when those circumstances happen, it tends to be something in the relationship that has happened that causes you to stray. And men and women are alike in that regard. So I just wanted to set the record clear for us guys that I'm talking about us guys that, you know, you really want a relationship, but something happens in that relationship, you go left.
Well, after the show, watching the wind down, I really liked how they highlighted that whole exchange with them communicating wasn't a blame game. It wasn't you did this and you did that. And it was more so of an honest conversation where they truly got to express how they really felt and tell each other things that they had never heard from the other person. And so it just highlighted for me how much they weren't communicating. And then number two, like how much they really genuinely loved each other, but the time apart was necessary for them to be able to come back at this point in time. It couldn't have happened anytime sooner, I think.
Well, that was a perfect question that Daniel, and that was a perfect question Daniel asked. You know, Lawrence asked, you know, why Daniel? And you know, because that's the burning thing inside of him. That's, you know, hey, I got to find an answer to that one. And she answered it very well, I think. You know, she did. Well.
And it wasn't because he was more successful or he had it, you know, his life together. And I think that's what Lawrence was feeling like. That was his insecurity. Exactly. Because he was kind of down and out at that point in time. And so it kind of like, I think that helped put his ego to rest. Like, okay.
Exactly.
It wasn't that.
You know, our egos are fragile. Y'all got to take care of it.
Go ahead, LaWanda. Look like you want to say something.
That's what his boy had said. His boy had basically said you were a bum. It's your fault, you know?
Right.
I think that helped him to hear that. But I also think it's like you said, after some time has gone by, they both had a chance to reflect. But it's also, I think, when you get to that point in a relationship where you're not that invested, so that your emotions are, you have some distance to where you can hear that person and not be so emotionally upset by what they may say. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's too close for you to actually hear the truth.
Yep, that's the point. And Lawrence actually confirmed to Issa that he had bought her a ring. So I was like, oh, wow. So Issa felt even worse after him.
Oh, I loved his response. I loved his response to her too.
Yeah, you feel like ish.
Right.
You know, another funny part when Calvin ended
I was just,
oh wow.
PSA Bay.
PSA Bay.
Oh my gosh. I was like, no.
I thought for a moment Lawrence might take that a different way. I didn't know how he was going to take it. But
I'm glad he didn't, get all prideful and macho.
Yeah,
and he really knew how to accept, like, okay, we've been apart. Like, of course she's been with other people.
Right.
First of all, look at TSA Bay and look at Lawrence. I'm sorry, y'all.
There you go.
I'm sorry. People gonna come at me for this, but whatever. I know he probably just was like, for real?
Yeah,
I mean, if you've seen that love scene at the end, it's a drastic difference from her and TSA Bay, where she was completely uninterested.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all I can say about that.
So I was so shocked that you really walk up to people and say, "Yeah, we used to get it in.
We got it.
Yeah, we got it in.
Like,
Yeah, he would do something like that,
Out there
in front of the chick he was with too. Like,
She didn't hear things. She was so busy on her phone, she didn't know what was going on or cared really.
Right.
And how about the Lyft driver that they had, the lady that was kind of like all up in their business?
Yeah, she was.
She turned around with her phone and said, "Go ahead, nigga."
Yeah, and I'm like, goodness, how to make things awkward for real.
But the funny moment was when he acted like he wasn't gonna go with her to the art walk.
Yeah.
Because when he hit her with that, I was like, oh no, he's gonna ditch her and run off to that's the first thing I thought. I was like, he better not.
For a minute there, I thought I had some points to bring home to you. I couldn't wait. And then he had to turn around. I'm like, man, you sure messed up my whole report.
I know. It was a couple moments there too, Ron, especially when she was getting ready to leave and he acted like he was kind of rushing her off to go to Condola. And when she turned around and stood her ground, I said, that's my girl. My Team Issa shirt is on the way too. I got my email. I'll be rocking it as soon as it comes.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And then like once they were in the Lyft for the second time and Lawrence invited her up, I was like, okay, so this is really about to go down. And the fact that he mentioned like they're really close neighbors, so much so that she could take the walk of shame home the next day.
That was a long walk though.
Or she can walk over there frequently.
I was about to say,
close enough for frequent visits.
So given all that's gone down this week, where I feel like because in the previews it looks like next week is going to be Molly and Issa's opportunity to finally come together and talk. And I wonder if Molly will mention Nathan's mental health issues. I don't know if that'll come up and whether that'll have a bearing on Issa's, decision to either cut him off or continue maybe building with him. And then in terms of Lawrence, like I want to know what was so important that he had to go over there that night for Condola to him to talk with him.
Oh, that girl, you ain't see through that in the time. Well, like she wanted him to come over there to talk and probably pillow talk. She probably had the same thing on her mind that Issa did. I'm glad that Issa beat her to it. That's the situation. She's a real OG. So
you probably right. But I was thinking like maybe he left some stuff over there. Maybe she packed up the stuff and
girl, bye. She wanted to unpack. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to unpack and stuff. She called him on the late night tip and stuff. Nah.
She was pressing
I'm glad Issa did what she did.
Yeah, she was pressing him.
Well, hey, women make booty calls too. So that's all.
But they do.
Do you think Lawrence will be caught in between Issa and Condola? Like he seemed to have really wanted to move forward with Condola and build something like more serious.
I think Lawrence he's a nice guy. I think I don't think that once he gets into Issa a little more, I don't think he have a problem leaving Condola. He never really felt Condola anyway. So
no, he was feeling her.
No, I'm saying, yeah, but there were so many questions it seems like he had about her because she really she just didn't seem like she was. When you look at Issa's relationship, we know there's time involved there, but they just seem to be a little more compatible. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think so.
And I don't know if he really felt that much about Condola. I mean, Condola, I can recall having a situation that's very similar to that. And you may not play up to it, but you kind of know this may not last very long. I'm here just to see where it's going. But you get a feel I don't think this is gonna last. Particularly when he invited himself into that Thanksgiving situation. I mean, for me, if I were Lawrence, that too much feel. I would have had to say, okay, I don't think this is me. I wasn't feeling that for him.
I think she represents something new. And before he had that discussion with Issa, he didn't realize how much Issa had changed too.
Right. He hadn't seen what he was missing.
They pointed that out a lot this episode, like Issa and her drinking habits and the drinks that she used to order, she kind of upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
And Lawrence and his ordering, she, like you said earlier, she ordered his whole meal for him. And so they kept pointing out to each other how much the other had changed, and even in their habits. So I think that that's a positive thing going forward.
They both have grown.
Yeah, but I think it was the breakup that was the catalyst, because they were both kind of stuck in a rut. And it wasn't just Lauren. She was stuck too. She hated what
she was.
She needed to move forward and do something that she enjoyed doing too. So I think it was good in that regard. It's whether or not that they can come back from it. Because I don't know where the relationship will go with Condola, if it will continue, but I do think she represented something new for him, because of all the women that he had dated, that it always seemed like it was something wrong with them, that they weren't, I don't want to use the word decent, but
a step down.
He's looking at it, that she was acceptable, compatible, somebody he could see himself with, someone who had a career. You know what I mean? I think. Yeah. But then again, if he's looking for a job in Frisco, he's not thinking of her long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a good point. Another thing that I noticed about this episode that is kind of like not the norm is that, a lot of men talk about like, nah, if my woman cheat on me, I ain't going back. Forget her, I'm done. And here we see Lawrence like really going back to his ex who cheated on him. And so it kind of like negates that thought that men don't go back to women after they've cheated. And I think it happens a lot more often than men are willing to.
No, and I honestly also think that men sometimes, we don't want to know why you cheated, because we assume, that it had to do with the physicality of the guy or whatever, and we really don't want to hear that. So we tend not to get into those kinds of conversations with our exes. But I think, like I said, Lawrence did ask the perfect question, and he got a very good answer. And I do believe that there are men that do go back, particularly when you have the type of insolvency that they had in their relationship. I mean, they were both off. They were both going through things.
Issa was so remorseful too. Like, it's something that I doubt that she would ever repeat again with that. Together.
No, it isn't for me to say she had a reason, because I just don't think that there is one. But you had a situation in your relationship, wasn't going well. You were constantly worried about whether he cared about you. Got it. On the other hand, he should have spoken up and said some things to her, open up to her about how he felt, what he was thinking about, and I'm sure she would have been there for him. But most men, we try to, we try to tough it out. We don't talk to you all like you want us to. But then you also have to understand we weren't built that way either. So So I think
communication is key. I was so here for that discussion between the both of them.
Yeah.
That they both laid it on the table like that. I was like, wow, they've grown. I was really happy with that discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see all the time where it's like women constantly taking the man back after he has stepped out. but you don't often see that on TV where the man is coming back to the woman. So I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And
That we don't. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't see it on TV, but I think it happens more than not. I mean, particularly in this day and age with divorce 50%. So who knows? I don't know.
I just want to know what your girl Molly is gonna have to say about that when she finds out, because we already know she was low.
Who could say that at least that Issa's gonna tell her? Because right now they need to clear the air,
No,
and
really.
they're not really in the space for them to be
But remember, they're all in the same friend group, so I'm sure word is gonna get out sooner or later.
True.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's only if Issa tells the others, you know.
I mean, we got 2 more episodes this season, so it's gonna be.
Go ahead, LaWanda. I'm sorry.
Oh, you done, Tier?
I was just gonna say we're probably gonna be left with some unfinished business.
And it's interesting that, you know, Issa without Molly, she didn't have her to bounce it off of. Because, you know, if they were friends, she would have basically called her, oh, he wants to see me. This is actually a decision that she made on her own.
Right.
And what I always like about Issa is she's always the one that can have the honest conversation. She's really that girl, because she's had it with Lauren. She had the heart-to-heart with Daniel, with Nathan. She may be awkward, but she has a certain courage in her vulnerability when she's able to just put it all out on the table, and it always works out for her.
I like that.
I'm hoping that Molly and Issa can have as mature of a conversation as she and Lawrence had, now that they've had a little bit of time apart. It hasn't been quite as much time as, you know, Issa and Lawrence has had, but time and distance, and with so much that's been going on with each individual, a lot of times like that'll give you space to, like you said, reflect and to come back clear-headed and more level-headed, because we know Molly has been a little irrational. So hopefully their time apart has helped her. And maybe she has gone to the therapist by now, I hope.
I hope so. But did you see when she was talking to
Yeah.
Did you see when she was talking to Andrew? She said, he was like, I know you miss Issa. And she was like, oh, he's the only thing I miss is LaToya. You know, and I was just like, there she goes. So I said, I hope she don't bring that energy to the meeting.
Right.
And you know her, she would do that. And the question is, will Issa hang around and, you know, be that pawn? I don't think she would. So if it's going to work out between the two of them, Molly has to change, and she has to learn to respect Issa and give her her time. Let her say what she has to say and respect what she has to say. Will that happen?
I think Issa feels emboldened. She's like, I had this conversation with Lawrence. I got it off my chest. So now I'm ready for this conversation with Molly.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it may be a conversation that actually does bring them to an end, and all the well. Everything
isn't meant to be resolved.
Exactly.
So sometimes you outgrow people, for real. And Molly is just like so unwilling to allow her to spread her wings. It's just, I mean, you got to cut dead weight sometimes.
Exactly right.
So
I had a question for you guys about Lawrence and Issa. After, you know, the day after, and Issa was like, no, I don't need you to take me home. I'm going to walk home, this, that, and the other. I was like, what did you guys make of it? I was wondering, I said, was this a one-time thing? Was this closure sex? Or...
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to break this before I forget it. But where did she get those clothes? She came in a dress. Now she leaves with a sweatshirt and jeans. Now I know she didn't bring.
She had a different top. I don't know where she got that top from.
That was definitely.
It might have been his sweatshirt.
That was a little feminine for me. That was a little.
It was fitted. It was fitted.
Yeah, quite fitted, and was a little feminine for me for it to be his shirt. So
I hope that's not condolence.
That's condolence. Oh yeah, I would have snapped it up with a selfie.
Or someone's. You know, he went through that phase.
Yeah,
he did go through that phase. But that's why I was wondering. I was just like, is this a new beginning for them, or was that closure?
I don't know. They seem open to rekindling things.
But But you know how Issa is, it's almost like she, you know, rather than put that out there or even, you know, put that out in the universe or make him feel uncomfortable, no, I'll go, I'll walk. Because he did offer to drive her. So I wondered about that too. So it just leaves it open.
I just think that walk allowed her time to reflect on the night, just relive it while she walks home, you know, not having to talk about it, just be in her own, you know, mindset about what happened and to enjoy, you know, the night before. I think that was her reasoning for walking home, not necessarily anything about Lawrence. I just think she wanted that time to herself.
Yeah. Not making assumptions, not trying to define it or rush it, just let it be.
Yep, staying in the moment.
Now, I do wonder though where that's going to take them, because I can see it playing out both ways. Because Issa, she has been, you know, wishy-washy, you know, here and there. So I don't know if maybe that's still an old habit that's been hard to break, especially when it comes down to the men in her life.
And we don't know what Lawrence is going to do with this condola thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's still up in the air. It really is.
I just hope it's not a situation where he's saying one thing and doing another.
I hope so.
I hope not. I don't want to see him be that type of guy. But
I don't either.
I think that, you know, for Lawrence, it's just, he's not the kind of guy just going to call up and say, hey, it's over, I'm done with you, goodbye. You know, I think he likes a little closure of some kind. What it will be, I'm not exactly sure.
I'm 100% sure he's gonna hear it from the fellas about getting back with Issa.
Oh, you know that's right.
He may keep it to himself.
I keep it to myself.
That's about last night.
Yeah, I'll keep it to myself for a minute until I know, you know, it's a firm.
Till they solid.
It's solid, and this is where I'm going. Other than that.
But I think it's a big deal when you go and take an interview for a job in another city. That means that you feel like you don't have any ties. That's and true. For you to be in that kind of mindset, but to go see your ex and have that conversation, it almost tells me that if there's anything or anyone I'm gonna take with me, it'll be you.
Yeah.
And the new job is what separates them. Like, even though they want to rekindle things, like he might decide like this is a great opportunity, and Issa might be like, my stuff is popping off here, I can't go with you. So
I don't know.
That might be
what did he do with the ring?
I'm sure
did he get rid of the ring?
But I'm thinking that, you know, even though Issa, you know, was a success with the block party, I mean, if he did ask her to come along, really, she doesn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, I guess she can pop off her events anywhere.
Exactly.
Listen, Issa went to the UK in the photograph. Issa can go to San Fran.
Yeah.
Insecure.
That's true.
Okay. Well, this has been like a really good discussion. I like that question that you asked, Tiffany. It leaves me with a lot to ponder.
Yeah, because I was curious about that. I'm like, you know, we think sometimes women, we think one thing, like, oh, we're in this space. And then sometimes we may get ahead of ourselves, and y'all, meaning men, may not be necessarily on the same page.
Yeah. All right, well, we got about a minute and a half left. Other guys have any closing remarks?
I love this episode.
Me too.
That was low key.
Me too.
It lots of laughs. It was a warm feeling all around. I love this episode.
Me too. This is so we needed in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Ron, you got anything?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Again, when we get
just remember, I was right.
And she ain't gonna let you forget it.
I know. I need to get my drinking on. I need a drink. So.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a good discussion. Join us next week when we come back for another episode of Insecure. In the meantime, make sure you click the subscribe button. Also, click the notification bell so that you get notified every time we post. We are also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook. That's Twitter, social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. At The Spot Real Talk. Make sure you give us a follow. We follow back, and go ahead and like a couple pics too. Right. In the comments, let us know what you thought about this episode, if you liked it as much as we did. So I think that's going to be it, and we're probably going to call it a night from here. I'm going to get back to this Moscato.
Me too.
Now, you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.